Chit Chat show organized by Awesome Ball Entertainment. Awesome Ball Entertainment is not only working in India but in different countries for last 14 years. So let's talk about today's guest. He is Ganesh Sapnis. He is one of the most important management group working in Ashoka groups of school that is in Nashik. He is an ex-Ranji player as well as he is a qualified physiotherapist and he is associated with lots of NGOs across the globe. So let's bring him online and know more about him.
Yeah, Mr. Dinesh, now tell me how are you day?
Day was a very busy and tiring one. It was a very cut for me to come here and join this chit chat.
I understand. You have a working day, right? So you have to just go. You are in the one of the most renowned associated with a renowned school in Ranchi, right? So,
yes.
Mr. Dinesh, I would like to know that I came to hear that you were an ex-Ranji player, right? So did you not try to come in an Indian national team?
Who don't want to come in Indian national team? I think everybody has a dream to come in Indian national team.
Okay.
But the way I would like to share one thing, that I was fortunate and unfortunate. Fortunate because I was able to make it in the Ranji Trophy of Mumbai. And when we say playing for a Mumbai is as good as playing for national or international level. Because if we talk about Mumbai, the competition what we have in Mumbai and the players who represent the various clubs in Mumbai and the way they play competitively, I think even playing for a Mumbai is as good as playing for national and international. Yes, I always had a dream to play for national and international. Unfortunately, I missed it because of you can say I was going through an injuries. Then maybe I can say it was not my luck to go for an international. Yes, but yes, the hard work was there, and whatever I could do out there, I did try. But yes, I'm still fortunate and I'm lucky. I would say that even playing Mumbai is a big achievement for me.
That's nice. So you still play?
No, I don't. I'm too young to play now. But yes, when it comes to being connected with the sports, I'm still connected with the sports, not only with the cricket, but I think with all the games now, because I'm teaching and training coaches, teachers, and also going with the higher grades in school for training with the various sports and the sports philosophies.
Okay. So, Dinesh, I would like to know that just your life journey from where you have started and now you are being totally in school, you are doing lots of NGOs, associated with lots of NGOs. Just give me a short, a summary of your life journey. I would like to just know about how you started and where you have reached. And you have associated with so many NGOs across the globe. So, how it happened?
Well, for me, honestly, when I started, I wanted always to get into the Indian Army. Unfortunately, I was not able to get in Indian Army because at that particular point when I thought of getting into for the Indian Army, I had to shift my career from Indian Army to getting into the cricket. Because it happened to be that I got selected for the under-16 special camp of Mumbai. And then there came a turn where my parents told me that, yes, you are doing good in cricket, then why don't you focus in cricket? Probably, getting into the Indian Army may not pull you into the games, which you are always passionate and, interested towards. So I switched to playing cricket. Through cricket, the journey started. I played for the under-16, and I represented Bombay for under-19. Then I went for the Ranji Trophy probables, and that's how the journey started with the sports. As I went ahead in my sports career, it happened to be that I got a chance to be part of Mumbai Customs, and I played for Mumbai Customs for almost 12 years. And but I was always passionate towards teaching, training. As my mom is also an educator, so it was always in my blood, and I would say in my culture about teaching and training and all that stuff. And it happened to be that as I completed my doctorate, when I completed my PhD, I just thought that, okay, I need to do something for the society and I need to get into the society with whatever I have, whatever knowledge I have. And I just left Mumbai Customs and I joined in education system. And last, I think almost 13 years I'm into the education system. Started as a PE teacher, simultaneously going as a head of the department, then director of the sports, and now I'm assistant general manager for the Ashoka Group of Schools. So it's a fantastic journey from where I started and where I am right now. With this education, I was again always keen towards giving something towards the society. And that's how it happened that I got connected with a couple of NGOs which are part of the United Nations. And they are doing the services for the United Nations. Like, for example, I would say is the France NGO, which is into the Blue Beret, the way we call it Blue Beret Association. So this association is all about the soldiers who have represented United Nations missions. And they have delegates all over the countries, various countries. And I'm representing as a member to them right now, but for me it is that how I can come up with an Indian delegation for this particular association, and I'm really trying hard that I could make it. I also have the other association, which is an NGO, which is again connected with the UN, which recently Rakesh, one of my very close friend, had joined it, which is Lazarus. So these are the two associations which I am with, and the third one I got was as a permanent Goodwill Ambassador was Ghana United Nations Association, which I am connected with and very closely connected with. I always wanted to do something for the African continent, and I think this was the right opportunity for me to be connected with Ghana United Nations Association, who gave me this opportunity to be connected with an African continent. So yes, I think though I'm not directly connected with UN, but yes, connected with various NGOs which are connected directly with UN. I think it is as good as that privilege to do something for the society, especially in education, then peace, I would say humanity. So yes, I think I'm enjoying this, though it's all honorary and a part-time for me. Like whenever I get a time in the evening or late evenings, I'm always busy. I'm keeping myself busy in all this type of jobs which are absolutely honorary for me, but it gives me a lot of satisfaction. So that's my journey is all about. I started as a young cricketer, and right now I would not say ended because the life is still going on. So at the moment I am right now with being part of the education system, sharing knowledge, giving knowledge, learning from the knowledge, and also with that connected with all this NGO so that I can give something what I've gained or whatever I have learned from the society.
So this is how you feel pleasure of giving back to the society, and this is how teaching came into your life. So Mr. Dinesh, I would like to ask you that in today's generation, since you are in teaching line, can you just tell me that what is main thing is missing now with the today's generation, the current generation? Is there something missing?
There is a lot of missing, I would say. In our period, it was too much of practical. There was a lot of communication, physical communication. Nowadays, it's all about virtual, and because of this COVID-19, I think it is getting more virtual, and that's again an unfortunate thing that's happened for the today's generation. They are more with mobiles, they are more with technology, they are getting more technological gig. So one way it is good that they are adopting the technology for the benefit of the knowledge, but on the other side, they are losing the physical contact or the personal touch that is required for any humans. Human communication is something which is one of the very important aspects for any of the human out there. And this today's generation, I think they need to maintain the physical contact with physical communication, and simultaneously they can always be connected with all this technology and whatever the technology is giving us, all good things what the technology is giving us. So I think that is one thing they are missing. They need to be personally connected. I've seen many a time that two students are sitting together, but they are not talking to each other. They are on their mobile, trying to be on the Facebook or playing games and all that stuff. So it's very important that they do that. But yes, I think COVID-19 has given us the understanding that, we have to balance our life. We just can't go with virtual aspects and we just can't go with physical aspects. And that's the reason it is always said, Corona is a disease or it's a virus. But if I put it in the other way, kuch to Corona. So it's up to us how we take the Corona. Okay, are we going to take it positively or negatively? It's up to us.
People, as usual, they are glued to mobile. I've seen that, most of the time they are into games and talking. I have realized that there is some kind of gap which has been created between the children and the parents. Do you observe the same thing, that children are much more aloof, about what is happening and more into the gadget world? They are almost found that 14 to 16 hours they can be glued into the mobile. So what do you think the consequences could be? Means in the future, what it can be like?
See, the way I said, if you're asking me about the consequences, I think the biggest consequences will be from the anatomical, physiological aspects, the way I always like to put it. When I say anatomical, it's going to impact your spinal cord, because the way they are constantly sitting in front of the screen with bending back, again, eyes are going to get hampered. Probably most of the young generation, if you see, they will be having a specs. I got my specs, and this is again more towards the reading specs, which I got it at the age of 42, I would say. But this is unfortunate part for the young generation, as they are sitting in front of screen for hours and hours. I think these two are going to be a major aspect. One, the spinal injuries or the spinal deformity, I would say, or it can be probably from the point of eye weakness, or there will be some issues connected with the eyes. So these are the two major impact, sitting in front of the screen for hours and hours.
Right. And I have seen most of the parents are complaining regarding the gap has been created between them, the emotional connect is missing. So being an educator, I'm also an educator, as you have known, I don't know, but I'm also teaching for last 18 years. Now parents have been complaining that kuch bhi kar lo, they are so much glued ki baki bahar kya ho raha hai, they are not even thinking about what is happening in the surrounding. I know this is a need of a time that people need to be technological friendly, something like that. But still, I would like to say that at least have that bonding with your parents, which we used to have in our time. So do you find the changes in your time of teaching and in the current teaching? So there is what we used to feel about the future. So as an educator, what changes would you like to bring in the education system?
See, first of all, let me put it this way, that what education was there in our period and what we are seeing right now, I think there is tremendous difference. Our pattern was much more classical, I would say more of a Gurukul type of pattern. Now it is a mixture of the modern pattern is all about, I would say, technology and facilitation. The way it is always said, those days we had teachers who used to teach us, and now the recent teachers are not the teachers but the facilitators. They are the ones who channelize the knowledge, okay, for the betterment of learning and outcome for the regular skills, the life skills that are required for the students. In our period, the teachers used to be more knowledge oriented. Unfortunately, those days we never had this technology like what we have now, Zoom or Facebook or Instagram. This was not there. So I would say that today's generation is lucky, but they need to understand the balance that they need to bring between the technology and the practical impact or the practical connectivity that they need to create. Whether it is between students and the teachers, whether it is between students or the kids, between the parents, that is something that is changing a bit. Yes, I think the COVID is creating a major making the child sit in front of the screen. There is no other option at the moment. Even as a teacher, I get sometimes frustrated that I'm not able to connect the way I was able to connect to all those students out there. screen is a very major issue for the teachers here. 2 days back, I was going with the training for my co-teachers was on the VAC system. So when we talk about the VAC system, which is talking about the virtual learning or the visual learning, auditory learning, and the kinesthetic learning. And recently, because of this, this technology where we have no other options of getting into the practical due to COVID-19, I think when we talk about visual learning and making visual more innovative, interesting for the students is a challenge. Even through the auditory, what has happened is when we are face to face to the students, it is much more easier to connect with the students. But when you are on the screen where you are not directly connected with the students, all what they could see is your face and your facial expressions. And also all they can connect is with the communication, the phonology and the clarity of the words what you are using for them. So I think this has been a tremendous challenge for the today's teachers, especially at this point of COVID-19, where the only option they have is to go with the online teaching. And kinesthetic impact is the huge impact which has been affected because of this teaching. So I think it's a challenge for the teachers, and for the student, it is all about how good they are able to focus and how good they are able to cope up with this change that has come due to the COVID-19.
Right. So I have also noticed that in our time, when there is any kind of problem comes in our lives, like regarding a problem solving or whatever, we do brainstorming. But nowadays kids are so smart that without using their brain, they can just Google it. They are taking the disadvantage of this. The technology which has come over. We used to do lots of brainstorming and the brain exercises we used to do. But nowadays, इतने smart है कि 5 साल के बच्चों को भी पता रहता है कि what they are. If something is asked, we can Google it. So this is how the things are going. Absolutely.
That's what. See, when we talk about research and development, or the way we use the word R&D, in our time, it was a practical R&D. So we were gaining the experience through actual feeling it, okay? And now it is all about technological feeling or technological R&D. It is much more easier for nowadays, for the students to gain any knowledge all over the world they want to reach to, or any subject they want to reach to. For us, probably as it was more practical, for us the knowledge was through communication, physical communication. Then we were also getting a knowledge or an experience from our parents or our elder brother or elder sister. So that is the difference what has come up. One way, that's the reason I'm saying it is a pro and it is also a con. It depends on that how we are going to take it and to what level. Addicting yourself only to virtual, or it is not going to work. We need to maintain the balance, and that is what I have been constantly telling my students, even the teachers whom I have been teaching, that it is very important that you are able to maintain the balance, whether you are teaching or whether you are learning.
Right. So what kind of new things you are introducing in your school to say evolve the 360 degree of evolution happened in the student? Because I know there are lots of opportunities right there for a sports point of view. If you get an education point of view, nowadays students are getting into more of the and they are getting confused which way to choose after class 10 and what to do after class 12. So how do you guide your students regarding this? Because they are more in a confused state of mind what to do now. We have selected streams and we have to choose between all those selected streams, so we were aware कि हमें क्या करना है life में. Now since there are so many wings, so many things to do in life, parents are also being very lenient to the kids nowadays to go with what they want, or they want to pursue sports they can do. So sometimes even though they become so confused, they don't understand where to go and how to take up the career further. So what would you like to say to them? How you guide your students regarding this?
I think probably I may not completely agree to you, because the reason is that nowadays the exposure for the students is pretty good, and recent generation, when it comes to taking the decisions, they are pretty matured. Okay, in our time, we were probably a little shy on taking the decisions, but today's generation is much more matured because they have exposure to the technology. Yes, if I ask you, if I tell you about how the students are able to take the decisions, with God's grace, they are lucky because nowadays universities comes to the school. Okay, they are giving the talk about their university, the various courses that have been conducted. We are coming up with lots of career talks or career lectures. Yes, so yes, and I think this has really helped the students. In our period, there was only about science, commerce, arts. After that, if the student want to go, they used to go either for the doctor, engineering, and then came the MBA. Okay, so Masters in Business Administration. So they were very fixed type of careers what were there in those days. Now every university is offering so many courses. It's only about how we look forward for and how the student look forward for. I think nowadays even parents are aware about the various courses that are available all over the world. In last 2 years, I have been constantly taking lot of career lectures for the students from the point of the careers that are available in activities like sports, music and arts. So I have been looking strongly that the students should also be aware about the careers in sports, music and arts. How many people are really aware that there is a BBA of sports management? How many people are really aware about MBA sports management? See, I always believe one thing: get into that field or get into that career where the competition is less. The lesser the competition, the better the chances are that you will get a good job. The more competition, difficult to get the good jobs. So I think, the channelizing the things, I think every school has started this, channelizing from the point of career guidance fairs, career guidance lectures. Universities are tying up with schools and where they are coming up with the informative sessions about the career and the courses that are available in their respective universities. So I think it is fantastic a stage that has been built up for this recent generation and this recent students, which we lacked. So I think it's only about the right selection and the right direction that needs to be implemented by the parents and the faculties who are working in the school, that they should able to direct the students that this is the career, these are the different new careers, and now the sea is open, the road is open. It's you who have to check it out, that which particular course or particular topic is where you are passionate about. I got into the education field, the reason was only because I was passionate to teach. Even now when I go with the lectures, for me it is all about giving the knowledge, and it really gives me so much of satisfaction, which probably I was not getting in when I was working in the custom department. Working right from on the table, sitting for 8 hours and doing all the book work probably was not part of my, and luckily as I'm also attached with the education, I'm attached with the sports. So this education or this job as an educator is not a job for me. It is my passion, it is my hobby. And that is what I always keep advising the students, that don't go for any particular career because your parents are telling you or because your friends are going into that career. You choose it because you are passionate about that topic or the subject, and you choose it because you will feel it as not as a subject or a topic, but as your passion and hobby.
So that's you have got both the things together. That means you are educating people, you are into sports. So both the things are going, side by side for you, and you have been lucky with that. So this is the thing I know we need to, focus on. Yeah, see, अपना जिसमें passion है, and what you make it your profession, so that enjoy every time. Even if you have to work 20 hours a day, that will be enough. Satisfaction, bring satisfaction. Yeah.
Very true.
That's the thing. So, Dr. Dinesh, I would like to say that you are also a qualified physiotherapist. Right? So would you like to give some tips to our students or the sports person or all over people who are watching us? Kindly give some tips for them. How to just take care if they have sports injury. What is SOS kind of treatment for them? So just
see what I would suggest is it will be a very simple tip which I want to give to every person in the society is try to balance your physiological impact and the psychological or sociological impact. Okay, don't do anything that will make you addicted and that is going to impact on your body or on your mind. And as a physiotherapist, I would like to tell every human that maintain your posture, stay happy. Okay, yes, there are stress, there is going to be tension, but don't try to divert yourself there. There will be phases where there will be low and high. Life is all about waves, and we need to understand that we are sailing in those waves, and you should able to maintain your balance no matter how big the wave is. And as a physiotherapist, the way I said, physiological balance through your exercises, proper diet, maintaining balance in the pathological conditions, yes, and simultaneously trying to keep your mind calm, your body calm, so that you're not going to go through any bad phase of injuries or any depressions. This period, especially COVID-19 period, is really testing us from the physiological aspects and psychological impacts or psychological aspects. And we have to see that we maintain the right balance for the body and mind. I always believe one thing, injuries will not come if you take maximum preventive aspects or preventive care. There is a RICE principle in our medical system, where that R is rest, I is icing, C is compression, and N is elevation, which we talk about for any injuries, the base for the any injuries. But nowadays we talk about not RICE but PRICE. That P at the beginning is prevention. So I would like to say this, that prevent yourself from getting physical injuries, prevent yourself from getting mental injuries or psychological injuries. Okay, and if you're able to do that, I think you will have a fantastic life ahead. There is stress, but you need to overcome it. And if I talk about today's stress, what we are going through because of this COVID-19, I think this is a phase. We all are going through those bad patches, and there will be a good patch. So be hopeful, be positive, and all will be well. God bless each one of you out there.
Thank you so much, and thank you for employing your time to us in our chat show. And it is very nice interacting to you, Mr. Dinesh. So before ending the show, what kind of what would you like to say to our viewers?
I just said it, for me, all what I would say is stay happy. Okay, live your life. Whatever limitations are out there, it's okay. Every person can't be perfect, and no person is perfect. Okay, everything has pros and cons. So just try to balance it and live happily. Let others live happily. Stay with the peace and let others live with the peace. So this is the only message which I would like to pass out. So let's have a very harmonic, society, educated society, and a balanced society, so that there is no fights, there is no stress, and there is no tensions out there. Enjoy your life.
Thank you, Mr. Dinesh, for being with us. And I wish you a happy Diwali, because next week I won't be here for hosting the show, and I wish
Yes, let me take this opportunity to wish all the viewers happy Diwali, and please take care of yourself and your family, and please stay safe. Okay, God bless you all, and lots of blessings to each one of you.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank
See
you.
you
Thank
soon.
you.
Yeah, see you soon in person. I would like to have lots of knowledge from you. It will be a great pleasure for me.
Sure.
Thank you.
Sure. God bless.
Yeah.
Namaskar.
Thank you. So viewers, अगले हफ्ते दिवाली है, लिए बने रहेगा और अपना ख्याल रखिए. और जिन्होंने ये शो मिस किया है वो YouTube चैनल पे देख सकते हैं. Till then, take care. Goodbye. Love you all.